Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Iron here. I'm out here in the Olympics on a backpacking trip, and I figured I would show you guys the photography gear that I personally take out into the backcountry. I also want to give you guys just some good tips on how to store your camera gear while you're out backpacking, and just some other good tips in general to help you mix backpacking and photography together. Tip number one, buy lightweight backpacking gear. If you're trying to combine photography and backpacking, you're gonna be carrying more weight than the average backpacker. A camera, tripod, 1-2 lenses, you know, that can easily add 10 plus pounds to your whole setup. Find out exactly what you need. Don't take anything that's not useful on your trips. That's the number one easiest way to cut the weight of your system down. Something I see that happens time and time again. A lot of people will be able to do a 2-3 day trip, you know, with a lot of heavy gear, no problem. Naturally, as you progress and start to backpack more, you're gonna start hiking further, doing longer trips. Longer trips means you're gonna be carrying more food. You might be carrying lots of water. So if you can get your weight just down to as minimal as you feel comfortable, that's really gonna help you. You know, it's nice. I get up to these spots, I'm not totally tired, I still have energy, I can hike around and scout for photos. When I started backpacking, I'd always hike with my camera around my neck, and yeah, I found that to really start to take away from the experience of hiking itself. So I don't do that anymore. I find it best to just keep all of my camera gear easily accessible. So if I want to take a picture, you know, I can throw my bag off and access it real quick. So I'll show you guys how I store my gear. Alright, so I store everything besides my tripod. I store in a small f-stop ICU. This is a super awesome case, super durable. It's got a nice shape, so it fits into my backpack real nice. So that's a bonus. Yeah, and as I was saying before, if you enjoy hiking with a camera around your neck, that's awesome. You know, we're all different and we all have different approaches. So I'm gonna show you guys what works best for me, and you know, what I've learned to be the best over, it's probably been about nine years now that I've been backpacking with a full camera setup. So yeah, I've learned a lot during that time. So yeah, I store all my gear in here. Another thing that I like to do, some of my extra layers, I'll put in here to give my gear extra protection, just a little extra padding. My bag gets thrown around or anything like that. So I've got my beanie here, a pair of thermal leggings. So that eliminates some more dead space in your bag too. So it's not taking space in my backpack, and it's also protecting my gear. So that's just a nice little bonus there. I shoot with a Nikon D810. I've been shooting with this camera for about 2 years now. It's not the lightest camera, and you know, I was actually using a mirrorless camera before this, but I ended up going with the Nikon because of its dependability. I had a lot of issues with my Sony A7R. Yeah, missed out on a lot of shots, had a lot of frustrating times, and I switched to this, and I've absolutely been loving it. I would definitely, you know, prefer the D850 over this. But yeah, there's no such thing as the best camera. The best camera, you know, is the camera you have. A piece of gear that I would highly recommend is an L bracket. This is one of those pieces of photography gear that you use for the first time and you're like, I can't believe I haven't been shooting with this longer. And what an L bracket does, you can shoot vertical without having to have your camera to the side. So the L bracket's a good way to switch vertical and horizontal very easily, and yeah, just give you a lot more stability shooting vertical. So love my L bracket. That comes on every trip. So I would say that the toughest thing for me and a lot of people that backpack and do photography is just deciding which lenses you want to bring with you. Least amount of lenses you can bring, the better. You know, lenses are heavy. It's, yeah, kind of sucks always changing lenses out in the field. So depending on the style of photography you shoot, yeah, this could change for you. I shoot with 2 lenses, and one of them is the Nikon 28 to 300 millimeter lens. So I'd say I probably shoot 60 to 70%, maybe even more, of all of my photos with this lens. And then my other lens of choice is the Nikon 14 to 24 millimeter lens. This is known as one of the best landscape lenses ever, wide angle lenses ever produced. This lens is amazing, 2.8 aperture, it's great for night photography, super sharp, one of the sharpest lenses I've ever shot with. And while I don't shoot with this lens as much as my 28 to 300, a lot of my all-time favorite photos I've captured with this lens. So between these 2 lenses, I'm able to shoot, yeah, from 14 millimeter to 300 millimeter. So that covers a pretty wide range. Yeah, you know, I would love to bring a zoom lens, maybe like a 400 millimeter lens, but it's just not worth it for me to carry the extra weight. So it's a balance game. You really got to figure out what's most important to you, and probably not carry some stuff maybe you otherwise would on like a day hike or a spot where you're just walking a couple hundred feet to shoot. So yeah, those are the 2 lenses that I use. I would highly recommend, yeah, 2 lenses max. Try to come up with a really minimal lens setup. And then I carry a circular polarizer for my 28 to 300. I was carrying one for my for this lens, but it was a giant Wonder Pana circular polarizer, and it was just a pain to put on and super heavy. So that's one of the things that, well, once in a while it might really help me produce a better photo. But I never bring that on my trips anymore. And then I always have a UV filter to protect my lens. I would definitely recommend that. All right, now let's talk about batteries. One of the worst things that could ever happen to you when you're out on a backpacking trip, you go to take a photo and your batteries are dead. It's happened to me more than once, and it's been a long time, but it's pretty much the worst thing ever. So before you leave the house, make sure all of your batteries are charged. I carry 5 batteries on most of my trips, and it's very rare that I ever use more than 3. So I always bring more than I need. Yeah, you don't want to let a dead battery or not having enough batteries stop you from capturing a shot. So make sure you have enough batteries and make sure they're always fully charged before you leave the house. All right, now let's talk about ways you can extend the life of your batteries. There are quite a few little tips that you can easily double the life of a battery on your trip. Don't leave your battery in your camera when it's not in use. That'll save you a little bit of energy there. When you're composing your photos, do it with your camera off. You know, do it through the viewfinder. Only use live view when you absolutely need to. Turning the brightness down on your screen will help as well. So doing those little things will easily extend the life of your batteries. If it's really cold out as well, I will keep my batteries insulated. If it's really cold, sometimes I'll even keep them in a breast pocket close to my body to keep them warm. And then I like to carry 2 memory cards on all of my trips. And the reason for that is, yeah, if one memory card fails, I'd have a backup. So I carry 2 32 gigabyte memory cards. I've got some of my GoPro memory cards in here as well, but I carry 2 32 gigabyte memory cards, and yeah, personally, I rarely ever fill up more than one, but yeah, I would say you're way better off just splitting in half. So instead of buying like a 128 gig card, buy 2 64 gigabyte cards, and that just gives you an extra card in case one fails. It's good to have backups out here. And then I carry a remote shutter that I can plug into my camera. I don't use this too often, but once in a while, it really comes in handy. I really like these lens cleaning wipes, and I always try to carry a few of these in my bag. And then I carry Allen wrenches for my tripod, just in case. And then just a little cleaning brush. And then I'm filming this with a GoPro right now, and this is the bag that I normally carry, or that I carry all of my GoPro stuff in. So yeah, this has been the most minimal setup that I could personally come up with and still be able to shoot the photos that I want to shoot. And then I'd also highly recommend always carrying some microfiber cloths for cleaning your lenses. That's an essential piece of gear. So yeah, keeping your gear organized is huge. You know, you don't want to be spending time looking around for stuff when you're trying to, you know, take a photo. So organizing your gear, I always try to be as organized as I possibly can. Oh, and then one other thing that I always keep in my camera bag, trash compactor sack. And if it's raining really bad, I will put my f-stop bag in this. Or if I'm fording a river or I'm pack rafting, I will put this inside this lightweight trash compactor sack to fully protect all of my gear. Yeah, it would suck to spend all this money on camera gear and have it get ruined by water. So yeah, as you can see, everything fits nice and easy in here. My GoPro fits in here too. Yeah, I've been loving this setup. I've been shooting, this camera and with these lenses for about 2 years, and it's been great. A couple other landscape photographers use a very similar setup. My good friend Dave Morrow, he uses a very similar setup, same camera, same lenses. I think Max Rive, or Reeve, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I think he shoots with the same camera and lenses. And yeah, those are two photographers that I look up to and really, really like their work. And yeah, so that's my gear. And then my tripod. So I would highly, highly recommend taking a tripod on your trip if you want to capture landscape photos. You know, sometimes you can get away with handheld shots, but I shoot over 90% of my photos on a tripod. And yeah, this comes on every trip. It can be a challenge to find a lightweight, and I'd also recommend a carbon fiber tripod. It can be a challenge to find a lightweight one that doesn't cost like $1,000. I found this Fiesel 3442 tripod, and yeah, I think it was only $400, and it's been awesome. I've been shooting with it for over a year now. I've taken it out on over 130 days of backpacking, and yeah, I've had no issues with this. What I really like about this tripod has a very low base to the ground. Some tripods you can invert the top center column. I just find that to be a pain. It's also got a flat base here, and yeah, it's not the tallest tripod, but it works. I'm 6'5", and I have no problems using this. I gotta crouch down a little bit when it's fully extended. But yeah, this was the best lightweight tripod that I could find at a decent price. I've had this Benro B1 ball head for a while now. Yeah, it's been great. Super sturdy. I think it was only about $100. So yeah, this is the gear I use. I'm gonna put together a video right after this going over just some really good tips for combining backpacking and photography together. I wanted to go over my gear first because obviously you're gonna need gear. You're gonna need gear to shoot photos out here. So that's the gear I use. That's the way I store it. And oh yeah, one more thing. My umbrella. Love this thing. If I'm expecting any rain, I bring my umbrella. So not only does this give me additional rain protection, I can shoot photos and shield my camera. So yeah, this is a lightweight backpacking umbrella made by 6 Moons Designs, and I would highly recommend bring an umbrella if you're gonna be in the rain. You can get a lot of really cool shots in dramatic weather. Alright, so I find this gear to be the most ideal. Personally, always remember there is no such thing as the best gear. This is the best for me in my situation, but the best gear is the gear that you have. You know, you might not be able to afford, some of this more expensive gear, and that's okay. Almost any camera that's produced this day and age can take some pretty nice pictures. So yeah, just buy the best gear you can afford that is in line with your style of photography and the trips you want to do. If you guys have any questions at all about any of my photography gear, backpacking, anything in general, I would be stoked to answer them. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.